Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
And we are excited to have back here Dr. Janet Little. Welcome back to the show today. You're a physician and so much more, life coach as well.
Yes.
Owner of your own company, optimalvitalitydoctor.com. So welcome, and please introduce yourself to our viewers and listeners today.
Thank you. Well, thanks for having me. So I am, as you said, Janet Little. I am a physician. I'm family medicine for the past 14, 15 years. And as a result of my leadership in medicine, it really led me to going into life coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And so as a life coach, what most people call me a resilience coach, I really work with all kinds of people, all kinds of human issues, because we all need some kind of resilience. And we're all resilient, especially in this past year, we have to be resilient. So as a life coach, I really do handle a wide range of human issues. But because of my background in medicine, I really specialize in helping healthcare professionals invest in their own transformation so that they can achieve their own prosperity and peace without really having to sacrifice their own well-being.
And let me just ask you this, since you are working with a lot of those in the healthcare field, and you did mention the pandemic this year in particular, are you seeing a lot of burnout?
Absolutely.
A lot of stress? Can you
Absolutely.
explain that, and how your services can help someone in the medical field especially conquer this?
Yeah. So part of my training and certification as a resilience coach is that I'm trained and certified in trauma-informed and trauma mitigation methodologies. And really what that allows for someone who is overwhelmed, burned out, and undergoing compassion fatigue, I'm there to really be able to hold space for them, for all of those emotions as they experience this unrelenting caustic trauma and stress that they're dealing with in the workplace.
And so someone who is suffering from these type of issues, they contact you, they come to you, or is it all virtual? Explain exactly how your services work, if you don't mind, Dr.
Okay. So with coaching, especially with the pandemic, it really right now is a lot of virtual. I do some in person as well, particularly when I work in hospitals. So I'm there on site to be able to provide in the moment support. But for individuals who are looking for a coach to help them with those issues of burnout and with resilience, I do virtual just like we're doing right now, having a conversation.
Good. Now, I have some notes here. I'm not sure if it's for today's show with us, just if you can clarify. It's about how to regain connectivity, certainty, and control. Is that for us today or for another show?
That is with Teresa
Okay.
in about an hour, but
Sure.
we can talk about it. We can absolutely talk about it.
Well, this is your show, so I want you to talk about whatever it is that's important to our viewers here today. So
Okay.
go ahead, please.
Yeah, well, I think to really start off is understanding what coaching is, because a lot of people get confused as, okay, what's coaching, big deal?
Yeah.
Or is coaching therapy? And so just to clarify what that is, what coaching really is when people coach with me, it's really soulful work. So we're not dealing with the surface level. We're really digging deep, root causes,
Got it.
and really allowing the client to become more empowered to activate their own resources within them. Oftentimes what happens when we are stressed out or overwhelmed is that we get so tunnel visioned and that we can't really think outside of those boxes and really be able to make the right decisions for ourselves. So we get into this spiral of negative emotions and negative decision making. So having a coach is almost like the client is the ship and the captain of the ship, and your coach is the lighthouse to kind of show the light the way. I'm not going to tell you what to do. That's not my role as a coach. I'm there to support you. I'm there to hold space for those negative emotions to come out
Mm,
and for you to be able to create that space for yourself as we go through this collaboration and really be able to get you to the goal that you want to. Now, as a key thing I want to say is that you don't have to wait until things are going wrong to find a coach. I think too often it's like we wait and wait and wait and wait until things have
procrastination.
gone, yeah,
Yeah.
before we say, you know what, I need help.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell folks, don't wait, don't wait. Now's the time. If you're thinking about, hey, I need help, there's a point where I'm trying to get, but I'm stuck. What can I do to get help? And that's where a coach comes in to really help you
And
push beyond your borders.
and you say coaching isn't therapy, but it can be therapeutic. Can you explain?
Exactly, exactly. So when you look at coaching and therapy, or at least how I look at it, therapy, they follow like the medical model. What I'm accustomed to as a doctor is like you bring your symptoms A, B, C, D, and E.
Yeah.
And there's a nice little package that's wrapped into a diagnosis. And there's a nice list of medications that I can prescribe for you.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas with coaching, it really is the client's responsibility.
Okay.
And as you said, coaching is not therapy, but it's therapeutic because, again, it really is a space for the client to be able to explore beyond what they think that they are capable of.
Got it. All right. And not to confuse coaching with therapy, but you're working with someone, and you mentioned the word before. It was not, it was about like a past trauma. Some people are
Mhm,
stuck, have things
mhm.
that are holding them back, and
Right.
without even knowing, right?
Exactly, exactly.
And past traumas, for example, if you can give us some that affect people's everyday lives. I mean, could you
Mhm.
share some of this with us?
Yeah, so like when we think of trauma, we think of big T trauma
Hmm.
in terms of what military veterans go through with
Yep.
PTSD or someone being violently attacked, those big T traumas. But what I want to focus on is those little T traumas
Okay.
that with stress day to day, they just kind of nip at you until it creates a big T trauma of overwhelm and burnout where you don't have the capacity
Yeah.
to be resilient.
Hmm.
So some of those things can be um, stress in the workplace, particularly like where I work in the healthcare field. Um, People are seeing death every day
Got it.
at levels that we have never seen before.
Mm.
So even though they may say, "Oh, I'm okay," not realizing what those little hits to the system can do on a daily basis, and then they accumulate over time, and then before you realize it, you're not yourself anymore.
Yeah.
And then it takes somebody else to realize that, hey, what's going on? Why are you self-medicating? Why are you isolating yourself? Why are you doing these destructive behaviors? This is not you.
So, how does someone know if coaching is for them? Can you give us some insight into that, the types of things that people are coming to you for help with as a coach?
Yeah. So if you found yourself, as we talked about, stressed out to the point where you're not able to make your next right decision, or if you're overwhelmed, or you're stuck in a job that's threatening your health and your well-being, then yeah, coaching may be for you.
Yeah.
And I don't see therapy and coaching as two separate things. I do see them that they can coexist together. There may be, you may decide, hey, I do need a coach because we're forward thinking and not necessarily reaching back to your past to really delve into the past, as therapy may do. But we may need to collaborate with a therapist
Yeah.
if it gets to the point where you're reliving past traumas that such that you can't move forward.
Got it. Yeah, sorry, you broke up there for a second, but I think it was just the audio connection. Yeah, and how do you find time to do everything? I mean, you
Mm.
obviously know time management. Now, do some people need help with time management, right?
Yeah,
You are
yeah.
as a physician, also a life coach,
Mhm.
and I'm sure there's a lot more to you that I don't know about.
Mom, wife,
Um, so
sister,
you wear
daughter.
many hats, yes.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
some people can't, may need help with that. Is that something a coach can help people with? Time management, procrastination,
Absolutely,
organization?
absolutely.
Okay.
And and how I try to manage it all is I realize that I can't manage it all at once.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's going to be some days that get a little bit more attention in this area and maybe not in this area. So it's a matter of what's important to me,
Yeah.
what can I control, and what's going to make me happy right now in
Yeah.
this moment. Yeah, yeah,
Uh-huh. Now is the time, right?
absolutely.
Wow. And just curious, have you had a life coach? Have you had people in your life
Yes,
guiding you? Can you explain that?
yes, absolutely. And I would tell anybody if your coach doesn't have a coach, then you need to find another coach.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good to know.
So I've had a number of coaches, and it's interesting the evolution of my coaches. My very first coach, I think back in 2013,
Mm-hmm.
um, I didn't fully understand the coaching process, and I was sitting there opening up and really making progress, but I'm just like,
Huh.
why isn't this coach saying too much? She's asking me a lot of questions, but I'm not getting anything back. But then that's when I became a coach, and as I started working with other coaches, I was like, oh, the light bulb went off.
Mm,
That it's not about the coach.
yeah.
I just made an investment in myself because I could only take myself so far.
Yeah.
And then my coach was able to push me
Push you to
beyond
the
those
next level.
limits.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Great.
So yeah, I absolutely. I've had a coach since 2013, and I have a wonderful coach now who is so much of an inspiration for me.
Right.
So and that's what I want for my clients, and that's what I try to provide for my clients is to really make sure that with optimal vitality and when people work with me, it's not just about life coaching. It's about a movement. It really is. I'm here to help my clients to transform their lives.
Got it.
And my clients, they feel heard, they feel seen, they get the clear guidance that they're looking for through the different strategies and activation methods that we do. And most of all, they know that they're not on this journey alone.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, what else did you have in store for us today, Dr. Janet Little? What else would you like to share about your life coaching services? And by the way, let's just bring up your forms of contact, website,
Yeah.
phone number, social media, please. Thank you.
All right. So I hope what I've said so far entices you to want to check it out.
Yeah.
But you can visit my website. I can be found at www.optimalvitalitydr.com. I'm also on Facebook, and you can find me at Optimal Vitality MD. And I would love for you to come there, leave a message, let me know what juicy nuggets that's really spoke to you,
Mhm.
or what you want to hear more of in the future.
Yeah.
And know that there on my Facebook page, it's a safe space for you to be able to connect and really learn and to build your resiliency muscles.
Got it.
And I can be reached directly. And my number is 443-492-9578. And I do offer free complimentary 30-minute, I call them Bounce Beyond clarity sessions. So we have a conversation either by phone or by Zoom, virtually, to really make sure that we're a fit for one another and that we're going to take this journey together, that you're not alone.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. Great.
Yeah.
And now, as far as the other services of a life coach, how does it
Mhm.
work? I mean, are you doing Zoom calls? Are you doing weekly sessions? What is the commitment usually to work with someone as a life coach for you to order to start seeing a change in someone or the person themselves seeing a change in
Mhm.
them and their behaviors and patterns in a sense?
But usually I recommend a minimum of 3 months.
Okay.
It does take some time to really, particularly those first several sessions,
Mhm.
take some time for us to get to know each other and kind of unpack everything. I get to know each and every zone of your life
Okay.
and see where you are in your zone. So whether it's your relationships or your family, your career, or your self-care, all of those things, we unpack everything. And then you, as the client, the coachee, you decide how you want to navigate.
Mm.
So say, for example, someone is lacking in self-care and they rate themselves a 2 out of 5. And it's like, okay, what do we need to do to get you to a 3? I'm not trying to get you to a 5 immediately
Yeah.
because it takes time. And when you appreciate those little micro wins, it makes the big win even better.
Okay.
So as I said, I usually recommend a minimum of 3 months or 12 sessions. And usually the clients can decide, do you want weekly sessions or do you want every other week for your sessions? But usually most of my clients will do every other week. And that way they have enough time to process what we've gone through during that hour. And usually I'll give, I don't like calling it homework, but I'll give some directives to say, hey, what can we do in the next week or two before we next meet that's going to get you one step closer to that goal that we discussed during the session. So it gives them enough time to, because it almost takes a week to say, oh, you know what, I got homework to do.
You need it. You need it to start learning.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now, how many
Absolutely.
years have you been a physician for? How many years have you been life coaching? By the way, it goes hand in hand because when you were just a physician, you're life coaching all day. So is
I
that
realized that,
is
I
that what
realized
brought
that. And
you to this?
yeah, and when I finally came to that realization,
Uh-huh.
because there was a point where I was grieving leaving the practice of medicine, but it was taking so much out of me that I wasn't able to really serve from my overflow. So when I realized, you know what, as a physician, I have been coaching, but it now allows me to heal on a different basis and to really understand that human connection.
Yeah.
That it's so much more than just writing a prescription and sending people in the work. It really allows them to do the work
Mm,
because they want to do it.
got it. Now, I know I'm reading, part of your notes here. You talk about this resilience and how to exercise and grow your resilience muscles.
Mhm,
That's right.
mhm.
Is there any tips that you could share with our viewers today in regards to how to become more resilient or any advice to kind of get centered, calm down, whether it be journaling, whether it be meditation, whether it be, is there any
Okay.
advice that could help someone just on a daily basis, just be a better person? It's just to start off. Do you recommend
Yeah.
certain things?
So I think mindfulness is a really, really important one. And what mindfulness is just you're not stuck in the past
Hmm.
and you're not anxious about the future. You're
Yeah.
right here in the moment.
Hmm.
And so just the simple things of recognizing this glass of water
Yeah.
and what this water does for my body, just that simple thing. And people it may sound woo-woo, and I thought the same thing when I first started out in coaching, but it really does help you to reframe and to shift your perspective on life. And I think with this pandemic, it has really definitely has shifted how people think because we realize life is too short.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is not promised.
Mm.
And so if I'm not living in this moment, I can really potentially mess up my future.
Yeah.
And actually, there's this quote that I heard that has really impacted me. It's from, I don't know who it is, but he's supposedly the prince of preachers of the 1830s. His name is Charles Spurgeon. And he said, anxiety does not empty tomorrow of its sorrows, but only empty today of its strength.
Hmm.
That's really deep.
Interesting.
And so when I think about that quote, it makes me say, you know what? I have no control over what happens tomorrow. I can prepare for it.
Yeah.
And I can't control what happened in my past. I can either continue to be victimized by my past, or I can allow my future to to I can move forward and not allow my past to continue to drag me into the future, if that makes sense.
Mhm. No, absolutely. And what else did you want to share with our viewers today as far as how you can help them? I mean, there's so many ways a life coach can help. And if you want to share some testimonials, of the clients that you've worked for, you don't have to use their names, but do you want to share some success stories about the benefits of coaching? Do you mind?
Oh, absolutely. So, with many of my clients, one in particular, she's dear to my heart. I started working with her in, I want to say, late August and September. And it was kind of sporadic how we would meet. I would definitely want to meet with her more often, but I think as you start in the coaching process, you have to build that trust. And through the different strategies that I was taking her, it became more consistent that she realized, hey, this is helping me. And she reached out to me in, I believe, late October, November, because she was just having a really tough time dealing with the pandemic. She is a leader on one of her units on one of the units in the hospital. And it got to her to the point where she almost wanted to end her life. She
Oh,
reached out and we were able to get her the therapeutic help that she needed.
mhm.
But then I didn't, I said,
No,
no, I'm not letting you go. We're going to work on this together. Let the therapists do what they need to do to get you to the point where you're safe. And let's continue our journey of making sure that you're getting to the point where you need to. And her and I, we almost meet on a weekly basis now,
yeah.
just for check-ins. And it may not be a complete hour, but it's a check-in, and just to see that transition. And I cannot take credit for that because she did it.
Aw.
She absolutely did it. So those are my like yay moments.
Well, how does it work? So the initial call or, a discovery session, what do you call it? The
Uh-huh.
clarity session?
It's like a clarity session. So
So,
I I get to know the person, what their obstacles are, what their dreams and goals are, and I explain to them, hey, this is my process. We go through on a weekly basis. We'll go through some different strategies, depending, and I don't like to do a cookie cutter. I have a lot of strategies that I can work with. So depending on whether this person is dealing with anxiety or they're dealing with trying to break through a barrier to reach a goal, there are different strategies that we want to take a person through. And so I let them understand that. And if they agree to that coaching process, then we move on. And that's where everything just opens up and really is a beautiful journey for them to go through.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much. And there were 2 more minutes left in the show, so I just want to make sure you're aware to get out anything else that's important to you. And again, optimalvitalitydoctor.com. You could book your session there. And what do you want to leave people with today?
One thing I want to leave people with is that as a result of resilience coaching with me, if you choose to join and if you choose to play full out, you will experience greater self-awareness. And when I think about self-awareness, what I want people to understand about it is that you have the ability to see yourself clearly and objectively, knowing that you're going through a system of reflection and introspection. And so when you do that and then play full out, you're able to achieve prosperity. You're able to achieve peace, whether that's in your profession or in your personal life. And you don't have to sacrifice your health and your well-being to do it.
Great. Well, thank you again. And how can people reach out to you? Tell us all forms of contact.
Again, all right. I still haven't memorized this.
.com.
Yes. Facebook, you can find me on Optimal Vitality MD, or you can contact me directly at 443-492-9578.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for your time today. It's a pleasure
Thank
speaking
you.
with you again, getting to see you here live. Thank you. And
Thank you.
we hope our listeners reach out. Thank you for doing what you do. And to
All
all
right.
those out there who are watching and listening, please continue. We'll, of course, have more of the show coming right up after this quick break.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.